I've heard of Kulfi, the Indian version of ice cream, if you like. However, I wasn't too familiar with it, and I don't think I've had it more than once or twice, and that was years ago. But since Golden Kuli, he's the channel on YouTube. Um, he makes a lot of different flavors of kulfi, if you like. Yes. And since then, it's become more popular, or I've known about it more. So I thought there must be more to it. It can't just be an Indian version of ice cream and that's it. There must be more. So I thought I'd look into it. Um, and from what I've read, and I've even heard from some people, um, during the Mughal rule of India, which was from around 1400s to about 1850s, and because during that time there was availability of spices like cardamom, cinnamon, saffron, and a few other spices. A lot of the food was spiced, even um, sweet food was spiced, and not necessarily spicy. The food wasn't spicy; they were spiced. So, example, cardamom isn't spicy, but it's a spice. So, I just wanted to say that, and because of the um, language of the time was Persian, and those words have become still present today. You might think it's from an Indian language, or it might be Urdu or other things, but these are words of Persian or originally Persian, because they've stayed for generations and they become part of Urdu or Hindi or South Asian languages. You think it's always been part of the language, but it's come from Persian, and Kulfi is no different. Kulfi was invented, if you like, around the 16th century, and at the time, evaporated and condensed milk, they were popular ingredients used in Indian desserts, but they weren't in frozen desserts, or if they were very rare. And the Mughals decided to pack the desserts with flavor, and they used things like saffron and pistachios to make it flavorful. And then once they mixed all the ingredients together, they packed it into metal cones that are similar to today, and they let it to freeze. So that was the first sort of like frozen dessert, if you like, during that era. And because they didn't have like freezers that we have today, they used like ice and salt and their methods to freeze it. And then that's what kulfi is. And Ain-i-Akbari, a detailed document written in Persian by Abu Fazl, also describes the use of um, potassium nitrate to chill water and turn it into ice. And back to the name of Kulfi, as well as Persian words still in India and Pakistan today that are part of the modern day language, which people don't know that is from Persian. Kulfi is derived from the Persian word um, kulfi, meaning covered cup. So it's literally a Persian word that's still a Persian word today and said in the Persian way, but we don't know. It's covered cup, and perhaps referencing it to like the cones that were like almost covered with the ice cream or the filling. And sometimes it was eaten in bowls or even leaves. And even during then, flavors had started to expand, and they had things like mango and nuts, cream, chocolate, and rose, even in the 1600s. And now we have all sorts of flavors. And it shows you that simple thing like kulfi, you're just gonna say is Indian ice cream, but there's a lot more to it. And I'm pretty sure there's other dishes that are Mughal inspired. And kulfi is a Persian word, and it was said like how we say it today, and it's a Persian word. But if you ask Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, they probably will say it's not a Persian word, it's part of the South Asian dictionary. But this is the positive and fascinating things about food and history and culture. the people influence each other. They use the positive of certain negative situations can turn into positive things. Like you wouldn't have Kulfi if it wasn't for the Mughal Empire in a way. And there's certain other dishes that I've spoke about in the past or I would in the future. And it's interesting. And now whenever someone says Indian ice cream, I won't just think Indian ice cream. I'll think Mughal Empire. I'll think of the word Kulfi from Persian word and things like this. And it should be like this, where you don't just see the food as it is. Of course, it is what you see it as, but also there's a lot more behind food, and you appreciate the food more once you realize the history behind it, the people behind it, maybe sometimes the struggle behind it as well. When it comes to immigration and things like this, people they struggle to make money, but the food that they bring from their countries maybe it helps them um, come out of poverty and things like this. This makes you appreciate the food that you're eating more.